Okay, now we continue on with tweaking this gradebook. So we've created 3 categories, each simple weighted mean, and we've chosen an overall weighted mean for the overall course, and it's called course total, and we've given that a weight of 50, 40, and 10. So let's go look at the gradebook. And remember, we've had some warnings in the past, and things are not always as they seem. Sorry, we are as we seem. And we get this gradebook, and I've got numbers here that look reasonable, but I don't know. So I look over here, I have class activities, and what this is the total for the class activities, and I can scroll all the way to the right, and at the top I've got 57 for that category, and then in the next category I have nothing, and the next category I have 100, and I go back, I go back here, and 57 and 100 does not equal 124. So let me collapse each of these so I can see just the totals. So by clicking the little minus sign, we narrow it down so we're just looking at the aggregates for each category. And we can see here that the totals don't really make all that much sense, because if you remember, my participation was only worth 10 relative to the others. So that shouldn't help this person out much, but the total is 124, which is less than 100 plus 57, right? But still, so the numbers don't quite jive, even if you do the weighting. So what could explain this? Well, interesting problem, and I mean interesting in the sense of may you live in interesting times. So let me go back to categories and items and see if I can have a look at this. And this is why you just always want to check your numbers, and once you get it right, don't touch it. So remember, I said there's an issue with this total here. You see it says 193, but what does that 193 mean? Because after all, it says maximum grade in the capacity of a weighted mean. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So if somebody has 143 out of 193, maybe what it's using that total and skewing the numbers. So let's take that back down to 100, where I suggested before it ought to be, and save that, and then go have a look back at that gradebook and see what happens. So now you see quite a bit of a different story. Remember, this 100 is only worth 10% of the whole thing, and it's not even 100, it's whatever the max was for that category, which may or may not have been 100. And so in this case, this person has 66%, or rather not 66%, they have 64.3, which should be the weighted mean of these 3 categories. And given, if you remember what we did, let me go back and so you can review it. We said the finals were worth the exams were worth 40, participation was 10, and the class activities were 50. So if you don't have any scores for your exams, the best you can do is about 60, right? So we could go tweak that. We could say, well, nobody did any exams, so let's just make those nothing, and let's do 50-50 on participation and class activities, and see if we're getting proportional representation. So I've got 30 seconds left, so let's see if we can see a result before I'm out of time. And now it looks pretty good. Is the average of 57 and 100 78, or 70 and 66 60? It looks pretty good. So you wouldn't normally have weighting that works out that evenly, but if you, this is just a way of sort of double checking.